All right, had my first real ride on this bike today. Not very long, only on a skate park. Skate park was really crowded, but if you notice the video, dropped in 4-foot walls, 6-foot wall, aired out on some 6-foot walls. It was really crowded, so again, I didn't really get warmed up, didn't really get much for runs in, didn't get a chance to hit any box jumps. It was literally just a couple of quarters in a bowl. Bike still felt kind of heavy, but really stable. So I'm not going to complain about the way it felt, but like to get it to spin or even to drop or even to hop in, it definitely felt a little slow to react. The fork felt really good actually on this bike, even with that rake. It does stick the wheel quite a ways out in front of the blades, but on this bike it almost seems like it works really well. Like I said, the bike felt super stable, but it didn't feel sloppy or slow or like it wanted to turn without any input. The tires felt okay, plenty grippy. The wheels felt slow, especially turning. Could just be the length of the bike I'm not used to, could be the weight, but it felt super stable. So there's definitely room to go bigger on this bike once I get used to it. Like I said, today was really the first actual ride. Well, I'd consider an actual ride only because, 6-foot wall is still decent. So I came home, liked the geometry, liked the way everything felt, but it was time for a bar swap. These have really similar width, pretty similar height, they're only slightly less rise. So I took the spacer out from on top of the stem and put under it. So it should be pretty close to right on as far as bar height from the ground. The stem is a 35, which should quicken up the steering a little bit. The original stem I want to say a 42 or a 44, so 7 or 9 millimeters shorter. The geometry on this bike is long enough that I don't have a problem with that. At least in theory, once I ride it, I'll see what happens. What did kind of surprise me though is the bar and stem I pulled off of there didn't feel particularly heavy, but the bike's weight is now dropped to 227.8, so it lost like half a pound just swapping out the bars and stem. This is also kind of the first expensive item I put on the bike. Again, this is stuff I had in the garage, but if you were going to replicate it, the Chromag Fubar 40s, I want to say these are like $100 for the pair. And they do feel really good. They're really light. They have a really nice bend to them, but definitely not the cheapest bar you can find. I did put a Spank Spike 35 stem on it. I want to say these retail around $55 to $70, something like that. I had it in the garage, so I usually ride a little bit longer stem than a 35 on my other bikes, so this one was kind of sitting around, even though it's good quality stem. But the amount of weight that saved it was unexpected. I also changed out the grips and went some ODI long necks, which are not my favorite, but they are fairly grippy and they do have a nice diameter to them. I'm not a huge fan of the mushroom pattern because it feels like they sometimes slide back and forth, like your hand will want to wander, even though front to back, like twisting a throttle, they're pretty good. I haven't put a bar end in there yet because I want to make sure the grip dries and sticks. I might have to put some heat in there to dry it out, so I do know the bar end is missing, but at least you can see what a Chromag bar looks like from the end. Overall, I'm really happy with the geometry on the bike though, and if you watch the skate park video today, for the first ride ever and a crowded skate park where I had to watch for a lot of people, I dropped in pretty comfortably and did some pretty good sized flyouts that weren't on the video after I quit filming because I wasn't sure how much time or space I'd have with everybody in the park. So the bike's coming along. The fork was definitely a boost to its performance. It feels really good. It feels really stable. And now that it's under 28 pounds, I'm thinking it might feel a little better. I don't know, we'll just see. But for now, that's what we're looking at. So if you're kind of adding up the prices in your head to get where it is now, bars 100, stem, let's go with 60. Tires are about 35 to 45 a piece. Those pedals are pretty inexpensive. I think they got them off eBay for like 25, 30 bucks. They're aluminum, they have sealed bearings. And the fork was 155 from Universal. So, you know, we're 350, 400 bucks into this. If you're buying everything at retail to swap over and you want all the same brand stuff. So, you know, it's definitely, you know, it's even at a good deal, you know, 600, let's say you got this for $600 online, put the exact same parts on it, you're looking at $1,000 bike to get it here. You know, with the way the market is in the dirt jumper market right now, that's probably not a bad deal if you really like the way the frame rides. It's a good quality frame, it's good to build around, but it's definitely not the same as, you know, buying a $500 bike. It's better quality, but it's also you're at this point you're invested. You know, you got $1,000 into it. So anyway, next ride will be with the new bars and stem, and I don't think I'll change anything else before then, other than the seat collar and the seat and seat post. But that's just for preference. It's not going to change the performance at all. So there you go, a little farther along on the project.